to work with other people, and sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes they are in your face. God, I'm talking to myself too. But you still have to work with that person, so you have to lean over the shoulder and see what the result is that you want. You have to be the adult, and you have to let it go, because I can't run a race carrying your bags, my bags, and everybody else's bags.
I'm Dr. Kathy Martin, and I am living proof that with Sharon Combs, Coach Shay, and UCDI leadership, processes, and strategic avenues work.
Welcome to Be the Clay, the space where transition meets truth and where God molds the woman you're becoming. I'm your host, Sharon Combs, and every week we talk about reinvention, identity, mindset, and the faith required to hold your form when life is applying pressure. Here, we get honest about the battles, the breakthroughs, and the becoming, because the journey is a new you, and it doesn't start with perfection, it starts with pliability. So take a breath, lean in, and let's grow. One intentional conversation at a time. Good morning. Good morning. Hey guys, how are you doing? This is Sharon Combs with Be the Clay. Some of you may not know who I am or anything about me, which is great. You'll be able to get to know me now. Be the Clay was just born because there's been a lot of transition in my life throughout my life, not even just recently, but the last major transition really helped me to know that throughout all my successes and all my growth periods and all my failures, that the one thing that remains constant as far as growth and development and security is when I am in the hand of the potter. And so I've yielded, and I'm just here to share and help individuals, mainly high performing women, really get a grasp on the fact that we're always becoming, and becoming can be messy, becoming can be glorious, becoming can be devastating. It can be a lot of things. And so, yeah. Now, what we're going to talk about this week is trust. Trust. Trust is something amazing. We're not going to talk about the pretty version of trust, nor the bumper sticker version of trust, but the kind that actually asks something of you. Let me say this clearly as I get started, as we begin with this thing. Trust is not the absence of faithfulness. If anything, trust is going to prove faithfulness. Trust is not passive. Trust is not even a feeling. I thought it was. And trust is definitely not a vibe, because the best of the kind man can vibe. Trust is a practice, it's a decision, and trust is a leadership skill. And so, trust, guys, is where we're going to start this morning. What trust really is can be uncomfortable. Most people equate it with comfort. I trust when I feel safe. I trust when I understand. I trust when I can see the outcome. But in being the clay, biblical trust, that's not really trust. That's just agreement. You see something, so you agreement, and you agree with it. And agreement doesn't grow you. It doesn't build you. Trust is what you give before it's confirmed, before we can see the obvious, before it's applauded, before anything wonderful has happened. Trust says, I'm going to believe this. I'm going to put weight behind this, and I'm going to put my foot on this plank before I fully know if it can hold my weight. I'm going to trust that this chair can hold me even before I sit in it. If I trust that the chair is holding me now, that's the trust that is seen. And so, because I subscribe to biblical principles, no, wait, let me get that right. Because I have chosen to live by biblical principles, when I'm doing things that don't live by them and saying it's trust when really I need to see everything that's going to happen, that's not really trust. It's not really trust, y'all. That's agreement. And yes, I am in agreement with the word, but there are parts of it that says I have to trust before I see the full outcome. It's not, it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. And me personally, just being transparent in this session, well, I'm transparent in most sessions. Unless I'm interviewing somebody, then they're transparent and I'm interviewing. But trust is not something that's the easiest for me. I am self-sufficient, with the exception, God helps me get things, but I believe I'm self-sufficient, independent. I own my own company. I'm a serial entrepreneur. So normally if something needs to happen, I would just go about making it happen. And here, I'm just saying when you're becoming, it is best with trust, because one of the things in my prayer life and my meditation time that has come up year after year and kind of concentrated over the past 2-3 years is about me making my own cistern. Now, if you're not familiar with biblical talk, what that means is I'm so busy making my own thing, and that's never going to satisfy completely because I'm a person of faith. So I got to get with the cistern, the thing that God creates. And even in my purpose, like if I can figure out how to do it all by myself, then that's probably more me than he. And that's a humbling thing on this side of life, just being a visible person. I'm reminded of a pastor who really worked with me and spoke into my life. This pastor was a therapist too. So I knew her as a pastor, but I also knew her as a therapist. And one day, maybe like 2005, 2006, we were in a session and she was telling me how, because everybody loved her. She was amazing, honest, authentic, powerful woman. Woo! Powerful. But she was sharing with me how she'd been walking with the Lord for so long, and they were at this conference and she was up in the nosebleed seats, and people knew her and she knew people, but that's what she was. And there was an altar call and the Lord had her go down for the altar call. And she was like, no, people know me. And she was telling me how she walked down, like she could feel like globs of flesh just falling off, like her just pride falling off of her, how humbling it was. And nobody wants to be humbling. Nobody wants to be humbled. But God will humble you, because humility is the thing that's needed. Let me say it again. No one wants to be humbled, but God will humble you if you don't humble yourself, because humility is needed. And even that is his kindness toward us. That is his kindness toward us, guys. And so with over this past year, just becoming, letting go of some things, becoming, growing. And man, I felt like I'd been punched in my solar plexus, but getting my air back and getting to that point of like the stages of transition, honeymoon phase. But when you come out on this end under the reconstruction, you're higher and you're stronger than the honeymoon phase. So I'm here. I'm here at this point now. I've gone through the dip, like, oh, woe is me, and the inner crisis and the inner conflict and all of those stages that come with transition. And I'm here and I'm realizing, like, it's his kindness that brought me here. I wouldn't go back. And so I've digressed, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes you can be doing what others think is so well that you don't realize you've gotten off purpose. You've put something else. Your focus and your identity is somewhere it shouldn't be. So with trust, I'm realizing that trust means I have to trust what I don't see. Yes, work the system, show up, be consistent, be faithful, but know that if you only trust in what you see, that's not actually faith or trust. It's not. That's all I'm going to say there. Even when you don't have the whole map, you still need to trust. Faithfulness is not optional for leaders. I am a leader. I know that I'm a leader. Faithfulness is a discipline, and you have to be diligent with it. It's not loud. It's not always glamorous. And most of the time, nobody really sees your faithfulness. But trust, it grows in the soil of faithfulness. Not your feelings, not your hormones, not your hype, not your amen corner, not your echo chamber, not even pressure. Just faithfulness, daily, quiet, diligent, intentional, uncomplicated faithfulness. That's where trust lives. It means I'm showing up and I'm doing the work regardless. And as I said, it is for leaders. So if you're leading anybody, trust in leadership, whether that's a team, a business, a family, or even just your own future. You want to lead your own future. As Tammy Flynn would say, fly. First, lead yourself. You're going to have to trust before you understand. And I've experienced that this year. and it has strengthened my trust. And now I'm at an opportunity, I'm at a venture, a joint, a point in the road again where I'm going to trust again. But I'm not on the strong side of it. I'm on the okay, I'm on the trust. I'm about to I'm about to leap into this pool, and I believe the water's deep enough for it, but that's trust. That's trust. That's trust, realizing you don't always have as much control as you think. I'm a big fan of, control yourself, control what you can. But even in controlling what you can, there's some things you just have to trust that the outcome is going to be what you hope it is, what you are working toward. I'm a big fan of work on what you're working toward. Are you working on what you're working toward? Are you? Are you? All right. So you have to trust even before you understand. Now, with leadership, that actually means when you're making decisions with incomplete information, you're still walking forward with integrity. Integrity is important. You always won't know how this opportunity is going to end. You always won't know who's going to show up. You always won't even know who's not going to show up. You could be thinking, oh, somebody's going to show up, but they don't. They don't. And so that's why trust can't be what you see. You don't know what God is arranging behind the scenes, but trust will move you forward anyway, because it says, I may not know how, but I know who. I know who. And so trust is not even the absence of doubt. It's the decision not to surrender to doubt, not to listen to doubt. Your calling is too important. And I just want to say this too. Many people, especially right now, y'all, where we are in this time, in this region, many people are like, I'm called, I'm called. I just want to I want to put something here with gravitas, with some gravity. Many are called. Few are chosen. Trust goes toward that chosen bit. Many are called. I'm not knocking your call. Hands up, hands up. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. I'm not knocking your call. Don't even kill the messenger. I'm the messenger to myself too. But many are called. The gifts and callings are without repentance, which means you can operate in your gifts and callings, but the calling doesn't mean you're chosen. Trust has to be a part of that. Many are called, few are chosen. And I want to be selected. I want to be selected. I want to be selected, not just once, but in every area of my life. That's why it's called Be the Clay. In each season, I still want to be selected, which means trust comes again. So I just wanted to put that in there because many are called. And sometimes we're like, I know I'm called. Well, I'll just speak on me. I know I'm called. I know that I can flow, Navi, those are gifts though. It's not because of some goodness inside myself. The Lord spoke through a donkey, AKA ass. So just because those gifts are being used doesn't actually mean you're chosen. And right now, where we are in this season, guys, as Dr. Kathy Martin would say, the remnant within the remnant. And we're seeing it in different places. So don't wait until you feel comfortable to trust, okay? Don't just rely on the fact that I'm called. It never created anything powerful. Comfort zones are designed to grow. But trust bursts and builds transformation. So if you're a leader, you're going to have to trust and you're going to have to walk in integrity. Now, the hardest trust of all, trust in yourself. Many of us trust God daily, but we don't trust ourselves consistently. We trust that God's word is faithful, but we don't trust that we're going to be able to do the things that we say or know or hope to come through. We trust the calling, but we may not trust the vessel that the calling is in. But God didn't make a mistake. I know he didn't make one with me and he didn't make one with you. When he gave these assignments, these works were created beforehand. So whether that work is for you to be a mentor, whether that work is for you to, walk in healing with people because you're in healthcare, whether that work is for you to empower people through education because you're in education, or whether that work is for you to create safe places for people as you're working in social work, those works were created beforehand for you to walk in. Also, your gifts and callings, they do make room for you, but that's not the end of that. They're going to bring you before men of stature. So know what to do with that audience, okay? Yeah, that's it. Trust grows when you stop betraying yourself, with half commitments, with delayed obedience, which is disobedience, they say. Trust grows in your actions and your words and your alignment to his words and your future. All of that stuff is laid out and you begin to step on it and in it. I wanted to share something though. It'll come back to me, but I really wanted to share. What did I want to share with you guys? Because it had to do with trust, but it's not trust in the way you think or the way I thought. What was it? Oh, let me look. I know I wrote some notes down over here. I was talking about like when you lead yourself. Oh, leadership and self-betrayal. Oh, let me see if I have it. Y'all finna get the turnaround right now. It's really important though. Let me see if it's down here. Oh, no. It's not down here. Guys, there's a leadership book. It's called Leadership and Self-Deception, and it's by the Arbinger Institute. Now, what it talks about inside is self-betrayal, and it is so good. Remember, I was saying, it may be easier to trust God than to trust ourselves, trust that we're called, but not really trust the vessel. It's okay. Flesh is weak. I don't know if okay is the right word. But in this book by the Arbinger Institute, it's not a Christian book at all. It is just like, it's a social book. It's a leadership book, Arbinger. But it's talking about leadership and self-deception. And one of the examples it gives, instead of me just describing it to you, I'm going to give this example because I know you're going to get it. It's like there's a couple laying in the bed and they have a newborn they have a baby, a few, in the next room. And so one of them wakes up because they hear the baby crying and they know that the baby is hungry, right? But they don't want to get up. And so they pretend to be asleep. They heard the baby, y'all, and they pretend to be asleep so that the partner, their spouse, will get up and go and tend to the baby. But the partner doesn't get up and tend to the baby, right? And so the first person who heard the baby begins to get upset with the partner. And that person is like, I know they hear the baby crying. And they begin to get mad and assign meanings and character. They begin to malign the other person's character, even though they're laying there pretending to be asleep. They begin to get upset with the partner for not getting up because I know they hear that baby crying. Go feed the baby. I'm tired. Why don't they just get up and feed the baby? They're just going to keep ignoring the baby. And they get so upset with the partner, right? But peep game. They're projecting. They heard the baby. So everything they're saying about their partner, that's them. They betrayed themselves because when they first heard the baby, they had the unction and they knew they needed to get up. But they chose something instead of they chose the other thing instead of the thing that they woke up to do. They heard the baby. They knew the baby was either hungry or needed to be changed or something. They knew they needed to tend to what they needed to tend to, but they didn't tend to their responsibility. And then they got mad at someone else. I'm just going to let that drizzle. The book, again, is Leadership and Self-Deception, and it's by the Arbinger Institute. It is a life-changing book, guys. It is a life-changing book. And so that actually happens too with trust. That's why sometimes when people say like what they're going to do, I'm going to write a book. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When you say what you're going to do, that's why I say work on what you're working toward. Do something daily to get you toward that destination. Because if you don't make any movement toward that destination, you are training yourself not to trust yourself, not to trust the vessel. Guys, I'm just being transparent with you. I'm just talking to you. I'm taking some time. We're probably going to spend about 30 or 40 minutes, maybe about 40 minutes, because this actually goes deep. So I hope I'm in your ear on your way to work or on a Sunday night. Or maybe you catch this at 3 a.m. in the morning, but listen to it because it will be life-changing for you. Trust grows, guys. It will grow when your actions start matching your intentions. Some people unintentionally aligned in themselves because their intentions aren't matching their actions. But trust will show up even on the days that you don't feel it when you're faithful, and when you're diligent, okay? So if the day doesn't feel shining or, sun everywhere, that's okay. Trust actually says when you're disciplined, I am being who I am becoming. I am becoming who I am being. I am being who I'm becoming. I'm strengthening myself to carry what I prayed for. To carry what I prayed for. Everything is life. It's like it's training your muscles. If he teaches your hands to war and trains your fingers for battle, you know what I'm saying? If he gives you hinds feet for high places, I know these are scriptures. If you don't know what they mean, it means that the Lord is training you so that you can run with horsemen and footmen don't make you tired in the battle. It means that he's increasing your stamina, your fortitude, your spiritual fortitude, emotional and mental fortitude. He's doing all that. And when you are faithful like that, you're honoring the future. You're honoring the future you want to see. The future version of you by being faithful today. That's self-leadership. That's trust. Remember, trust is not the absence of faithfulness. You will have to work. It is the evidence of faithfulness. Like faith is the evidence of things hoped for but not seen. Trust is the evidence of your faithfulness. It is. I know. Sound crazy, right? But just rock with me. Rock with me. All right. So another thing I really wanted to share with you, and then toward the end, I will share like about 3 practical things for you to do. I want to say years ago, I was writing and journaling. I journal often. And sometimes when I'm journaling, after I have got out my little shoes or wow, what a great day, all of that out, I begin to get into a stream of something that I know is good for me. It's good for me. It's good for my life. And one of the things was go to bed the same day you wake up in. Get up when you wake up. Simple, but message. And go to bed the same day that you wake up in. And that means like toward the beginning of this year, surely just I was doom scrolling all the time. Anything to give my mind something else to think about, but that was doing that spiral of transition before things, before I yielded. Be the clay, before I yielded and quit running from that potter's wheel and just got still, But one of the things during that time, it was like have a nighttime routine. And I haven't mastered the nighttime routine. I like to watch sports, and depending on who's playing, the game can end later. My energy budget, I work better, like from 4 p. I work better in the hours other people aren't working. And so it was like, oh, but have a good nighttime routine, not through nighttime in. It was like have a good routine and have a good sleep routine. Like do things to calm down before you go to sleep. And I've heard people say it. I'm on LinkedIn. I hear when people say, yeah, do this, 3 hours before, 2 hours before, 1 hour. I've heard that stuff. I've heard it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And it began to impact other things like brain fog, all kind of stuff. And then I started doing it. I got me some tea. And I started drinking tea at night. As my friend said, tea calms you down. When I drink coffee, everything in me know I'm finna ramp up. But something with the tea just caused me to woosah and calm down. And I didn't want to watch TV while I was drinking the tea. I just began to calm. Read a little bit. Tell the Lord thanks for the day. And when I would go to sleep, and so this is being implemented. I do this now about 5 days out of the week. I'm shooting for 7. Y'all pray for it. Pray for a sister. Pray for me, please. But I noticed that when I would go to sleep after the routine, I would really go to sleep. I didn't lay there for like 2 hours because my mind was still thinking about a million things. I would go to sleep. Do you want to go to sleep? Get the routine. I'm sorry that I had to be so hard-headed about it, but I'm glad the kindness of the Lord. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. You close your eyes, you're already calm. This body that we live in is kind of amazing. Like the Lord really did rig it up pretty nice and pretty decent, that it wants to do things that are good for it, for the betterment of it. If we would listen to it and quit trying to tell it what to do and allow it to kind of lead us a little bit, hey, There might be a reason you craving carrots. You know what I'm saying? But I really began to go to sleep. And what I realized was like, that was a part of being faithful too. That was a part of being faithful, not just walking and drinking the water. That was part of being faithful. So let me challenge you lovingly. You're probably not your best self at 1 a.m. You're probably not optimizing your future at 1 a.m. You're not honoring your brain or your body or your assignment. Now, it could just be me, but if not, maybe you too. So if you're doing all that at 1 a.m., know that trust says, I believe God has something for me in the morning. So I'm going to discipline myself tonight and go to bed. I will honor my calling too much to sabotage my tomorrow. Facts. There have been Saturdays that I had just like days and time. I would have like 3 or 4 hours on the Saturday. I was like, oh, I can go to a movie. I can do this. I would go walking most times or whatever. And then I would go to work because I'm a serial entrepreneur. I go to work and it get good. And all of a sudden it's 2 or 3 a.m. But I know the church is in the morning and prayer. They have prayers like 7:30. And I'll be like, well, it's 2 services. And I've already went, I would be saying that I would start justifying. Let me tell you about self-justification. It is not a friend of trust, and it is not a friend of faithfulness, and it is not a friend of those who are called being chosen, okay? Self-justification is dangerous. It is dangerous. It's dangerous, y'all. You have to say, my purpose deserves a well-rested morning. I want to be there. I want to be there. Whether to encourage somebody, whether somebody who just come to church and they've been there in 57 years, or maybe there's somebody who needs help hosting, or a pastor who maybe, because pastors are people too. Maybe they had a long week. They had a long week and now they're finna come in here and serve. They want to serve, but what can I do to strengthen them too? So be faithful even to your nighttime, to getting the sleep that you need, so that you can show up in the morning and be straight. Be straight. And you like, I'll be straight, such, whatever, man. If you got kids, think about how cranky your kids are when they don't get sleep. You think God's kids are any different? You think because you older, you're any different? No, don't be cranky. Show up, be your best self. All right. So your future deserves a well-rested version of you. All right. I really think that's all I'm going to speak on right now as it relates to trust. We've been talking for about 30 minutes. I want you to stay pliable. I want you to stay becoming. Let's take a quick break. And when I come back, we're going to close it out with some of the final thoughts on trust. And I want to challenge you. I'm going to give you a few challenges for this week. It's a holiday week. People are trying to finish. I know people are trying to finish everything up. There was so much traffic out by the Highlands here in the DFW area. So we're about to hit Christmas. There's Hanukkah, there's other things going on, but it's a lot going on. You have deadlines for the end of the year coming up. It's Q4. You have people who want gifts coming up. We have tariffs. We've always had tariffs, but we have tariffs that, add more now. I had something that costed $47, and because of tariffs, it jumped up to $83. What? That's almost double the price, but that's where we are right now in this season in our lives. In this, I don't even think it's just America, but definitely in America, we're there. So there's a lot going on. Plus, you have family members coming, those that you cannot wait to see. You're going to be so glad to see them. You also have family members coming that you like, dang, I hope I'm not caught in the room with them. You have in-laws. It's a lot going on. You have kids who are going to be looking at you like, where are my 57 gifts? It is a lot going on. There are a lot of demands, personally and professionally, as we come up to this last week before the week of Christmas, And so I want you to stay pliable. I'm going to come back. We'll go over some of those 3 challenges. I think those challenges will help you getting throughout the week. And yeah.
Sharon Combs. She is an experienced, passionate, and charismatic speaker. Since 2000, Sharon has been investing herself in the success of others, captivating them with humor and openness that promotes audience engagement.
It doesn't have to be a fight between me and you. We can focus on solutions. And how do we focus on solutions? We establish common ground.
The thing I want to say is, if you are fortunate enough to reach Coach Shay and set some time up with her, you're going to be very lucky.
We have assumptions, so many. And you have to check your assumptions, because your assumptions can be the very barrier or bottleneck to us being able to work effectively together.
You're going to realize your true growth potential as a leader as well. She actually presented it in a way it felt new.
All right, guys, we're back. And so what I want to share with you as we're closing this up, first off, God didn't make a mistake when he made you, right? I mean, I know sometimes we look at ourselves and like, oh, I want to be consistent. You're already consistent. Just point your consistency where you want it to go. You may be consistently eating potato chips, but you want to eat salad, all right? So you're already consistent. You just need to change the focus of your consistency. And that will, again, too, that will help you build trust. Trust is just not always about the other person. It's also about yourself. And he didn't make a mistake when he gave you your assignments. He didn't give them to your neighbor, not the mentor, not the people you may admire. I hate that I even pointed at me when I did that. Not the people that you may admire online. He gave it to you, and you're well able to do it. And so please stop any type of self-betrayal. Please lean into the FLY principle, which is first lead yourself, so that you can partner and align with what you are designed to do. You'll be happy that you did. Trust is a skill, guys. That's the bottom line. The same way our brain, you guys hear me always talk about think on purpose. Listen, this book, the reason I was able to, the grace of God first and foremost, but what the Lord shared with me and what I was able to do and the practices I was able to do, which would bring me up from having no car, walking, working, to get a bike, to get a car, to do different things, to go from making like $25,000 to over six figures. And not that that's a thing, but I'm just saying the increase and seeing some of the things that come to fruition, those things, it's in that book. The steps that I took, the practices that I implemented, it's in that book. And it comes with a workbook. It'll change your life. So back to trust. Though. Trust is like a skill. The same way our body has muscle memory with our arms and our brain, it is a practice that we do with trust. It's a discipline. And you build it by showing up, by following through, by aligning your habits with your calling. Your habits with your calling. If your habits don't align with your calling, even if you have money, it'll be like dying on the vine. You'll still feel empty inside. Been there, done that. And I wouldn't recommend it for anyone. So you build it by showing up, following through. Trust grows when you do the small things well, not just the big things. Sometimes people see me speaking, they're like, oh my God. But you also, you know what? I'm going to read the dictionary. I'm reading thesauruses. I'm learning different words daily. I'm learning how to speak on different registries so that my audience, whoever they are, that I can talk to them in such a way that they hear it. Trust grows when your private discipline matches your public declaration. Private actions line up with what the public sees. And so that's trust, that's spiritual maturity, that's leadership professionally and personally. My challenge to you this week, number one, pick one area where you've been hesitating and take one small step forward. I don't care. Pick one area where you've been hesitating and take one small step forward. Make the outline. Many people talk to me about books because I'm an author and I publish books. Like I said, I'm a serial entrepreneur and, these are things that I do. And so they'll be like, hey, I want to write my book and this and that. And they talk about what they want to do. And I'm like, write the outline. Write the chapters. Write the flow. I don't care if your outline is vertical or linear. Start, middle, finish. What is it? Check the flow. Do one thing in an area where you've been hesitating. Okay? Number two, honor your sleep rhythm. A gentleman I met, well, I didn't meet him. I've known him for years, but he mentioned something about a rhythm. And he's like, my life flow on a rhythm. And I didn't really pay attention to what he's saying. I listened, but I didn't give it credence or not give it credence because he was talking about his life. And then later, I was like, why would he say his life flows on a rhythm? Because I'd never heard anybody say that. Maybe very common where he's from, but I'd not heard it. And so I really began to look it up and I was like, oh, snap. Rhythm is a thing. Rhythm is a thing, and it's not like a new agey thing. It's a thing. And so honor your rhythm, honor your sleep time rhythm. If you sleep at night, honor your nighttime rhythm. Trust is easier in a well-rested body. It's easier. I'm telling you, people are grumpy when they sleepy. Sleepy and hungry, that'll throw you off. It'll throw you off. So honor that. Number 3, I would love for you to ask the Lord this question daily. Father, what are you forming in me today? Don't wait till 11 p.m. and say, what were you forming? You know what I'm saying? Father, what are you forming in me today? And then be pliable and partner with him and allow him to form it. When you do that, and maybe he's like, hey, you may get a sense of love that he's wanting you to love somebody. He may bring somebody across your path that you kind of don't want to fool with, but he's showing you how to love. Or he may be forming like some teaching ability in you. And somebody may come and ask you 57 questions. It's not always them asking about patience. It could be you learning how to train, how to teach, how to convey messages, principles, truths. So ask the Lord, what are you forming in me today, Father? So those are the practical applications I'm challenging you with this week. This week, don't be like, oh, that's good, and I do it. No, oh, that's good. Write it in your journal. Put it on your notes. Send yourself a text message, or text someone else and say, hey, ask me about this tomorrow. Number 1, pick an area where you've been hesitating and take one small step forward. Don't try to take over Rome. Number 2, honor your nighttime rhythm. Trust is easier in a rested body, in a rested vessel. Number 3, ask God, what are you forming in me today? What is it that you're working on in me today? Don't be trying to pull nobody else's speck out their eye. What are you forming over here, Lord? See, this week it's not about like pretending. It's not about acting like you got everything in order. It's not about forcing yourself to be confident. People recognize authenticity, and you are part of people. And if you know that you're not really being authentic, again, that's undermining your trust. Be authentic. That's something I try to do. I think I am authentic, but no one's perfect. But be authentic. I don't really think I know how to be inauthentic. It's very uncomfortable for me, even to have like a fake small talk, because I want to ask questions. So yeah, guys, it's not about pretending. It's not about trying to force yourself to be confident or put on. You don't have to, I love human behavior. My license tag says human behavior. And one of the things, like when you're working with people who are anyway, I'm not even going to get into that right there. This week, guys, is about trust. It's not acting like everything feels easy. Have the trust, the kind of trust that stands even when circumstances shift, the kind of trust that grows up even when when it's blurry, your trust is still growing, the kind that chooses faithfulness, even when it seems like no one else is, even when results are not immediate. I know we're so used to being in a boop, 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 TikTok, Threads, Instagram. I get it. Chat GPT, DoorDash, whatever. It's just boom, boom, boom. It's so much consumption. And somewhere we believe the lie that is living the dream, and it is not living the dream. It is not. We're not made for it. We have to fast, not just food. We're not made for it. Guys, if I could just get it through to the world. But this is about trust, and it's not the absence of faithfulness. Trust is faithfulness. Be faithful. Faithfulness in motion, faithfulness in practice, faithfulness in real time. Be faithful. Here's my declaration for the week, and it can be yours if you want it. I would trust God. I would trust the process, and I would trust the version of me that God is forming. I would trust God. I would trust the process, and I would trust the version of me God is forming. God, let's walk this week with clarity, and let's walk it with trust, okay? Don't let anything trip you up. All right. That's what I have today on Be the Clay. I want to encourage you. Be kind to somebody, be nice to somebody, not for wealth or fame, but because it is a good thing to do, and recognize that kind is doing the right thing. Nice is being pleasant about doing it. If you can only do one, be kind. Be kind before you be nice. Y'all stay pliable, stay ready, and stay becoming. Stay becoming. Be the Clay, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Do you want greater success and satisfaction in your career? Do you have ideas that you desire to contribute? Then it's time to invest in you. Imagine you building and managing a high-performance team, managing conflict and difficult conversations, understanding financial management and budgeting, creating and implementing strategic plans, building and maintaining relationships with stakeholders. Our programs are designed and tailored for individuals seeking to grow and succeed in their leadership roles. UCDI's Change the Narrative Progressive Leadership is a mid-level leadership program designed specifically to develop the skills and knowledge necessary to take on greater leadership responsibilities in a sustainably scalable format. So, if you're tired of seeing ineffective processes, unhealthy work distribution, lack of follow-through and accountability, and you want to be an answer for yourself and for your team, then this is the program for you. Contact UCDI Leadership at info@ucdileadership.com or text leadership to 214-717-5921. The future depends on many things, but mostly it depends on you.
Hey guys, thank you so much. Listen, up in the corner, up in your upper left corner, you'll see a QR code there. That QR code simply stands for Give from the Heart. Doing podcasting, it helps me to do all the things I need to do to be able to reach all the people I need to reach out to the guests, to help the guests, to, support the guests. So anything that's on your heart, if you scan that QR code, it allows you to give. Anything $2, $2 million, $200,000, $20, 10 cents, whatever it is. I want to thank you for that. Another thing you can do to help. If you have not subscribed to the Push channel or followed us on Apple Podcasts or iHeartRadio, I ask that you go ahead and do that so that supports us and that lets us know the numbers. It also lets us know who is watching and who is resonating with this. We love our community. Those two things would really be helpful here at Be the Clay. And until next time, have a wonderful day.
You have to work with other people, and sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes they are in your face. God, I'm talking to myself too. But you still have to work with that person, so you have to lean over the shoulder and see what the result is that you want. You have to be the adult, and you have to let it go, because I can't run a race carrying your bags, my bags, and everybody else's bags.
I'm Dr. Kathy Martin, and I am living proof that Sharon Combs, Coach Shay, and UCDI leadership processes and strategic avenues work.